What's up, chess fans? This is Douglas. I'm here on Lee Chess, about to go over the World Chess Championship 2018 between Fabiano Caruana and Magnus Carlsen. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you like, subscribe. If not, that's cool. Alright, so we are finished with the 12 games of normal time controls, and they are tied at 6 games apiece. And we are on to the tiebreaker, one of the tiebreakers, 4 games, 25 minutes each, with 10-second increments after each move. So the pressure is going to be on. And then if it's still tied after these 4 games, then the next day they will play, or the next couple days, they will play a couple of games with 5-minute increments, and 5 minutes total with 3 minutes increments to move. Alright, so let's get to this game. Game number 13. And Magnus has the white pieces, Fabiano has the black pieces. Magnus starts off with the English opening variation here. Fiend Ketoing. Getting ready to Fiend Keto, rather. Getting his knight over so he doesn't get doubled pawns here. With the bishop. Now he's Fiend Ketoed. And castled. Then instead of protecting this pawn here, he ignores it, like they often do, like they've ignored this also for a couple moves. And we're at 20 minutes for Fabiano and 23 minutes for Magnus. Then we have a strike at the bishop, and now he either needs to move back or take the knight, and he does. Recapture with the knight so we don't have doubled pawns. Then he takes the pawn on c4. Magnus replies with the taking of e5. And if he recaptures with this pawn, then are we going to see a queen exchange? Not right away. And repositioning his knight and bishop for Caruana. Then we have the captures with 18 minutes left. Recapture, and we're at the middle game, kind of. Repositioning the bishop and getting some support, or activating this bishop. Wants to play, not just sit in the side there. Throwing a strike at this pawn, which is defended from the knight. Throwing a strike at the bishop here. With this rook. Backs it up with the rook. Knight over. Bishop repositioning. So he's got 2 on this now. And he's only got 1 defender. So he's got to get another. So he gets the, that's exactly what he was doing with the knight. 2 defenders on it. Now this knight is unprotected. We're mostly looking at the knight, the first knight on d6, not d7, because that d7 is protected by the rook. Knight slides out of the way. Magnus's knight slides in, captures the pawn. That was what the knight was defending. And we take the bishop here. So now he's going to have double pawns, or he's going to lose his rook. Takes with the doubled pawns, not the best positioning. Now he takes the pawn. Repositioning to try to get out of that doubled pawns, and Magnus says, alright. 8 minutes left to 13 minutes. Recaptures with the pawn. With check. So he's got this, and he's got this pawn. So first he takes the pawn. The king has to come over in order to defend, because there's 2 going after this and only 1 defender with the rook. So the king gets there just in time. Takes. Magnus decided to take anyways because he's up a pawn. 5 pawns to 4 pawns. Check. Now, who has the better endgame positioning? Throws in a check there. Getting ready to take this pawn. Looks like he's getting ready to take the A pawn with defending the A pawn here. King gets into better position, and that's what happens. Again, the king tries to get more into the middle here. Trying to scoop this pawn up. And he's trying to scoop this pawn. So he does take that. First he throws in a quick check. Comes over here and ready to maybe take this, or taking this pawn rather. Yes, he does. And then this is the critical moment in the game. Obviously you can't check here. Maybe you should have thrown in a check there. Magnus comes up, throws in a check, drops back. I think one of the main reasons for this drop back here was that if he would have went up here, then he could potentially just keep checking him, getting this pawn, the king coming over here, then he's losing this pawn. So he doesn't have that, he drops back. Again, we only have 30 seconds, and then they get 10 seconds additionally, and this is the world champion we're going for. So they've only got 30 seconds. So obviously there was a couple of mistakes here and blunders right here at the end. He's getting his king in a better position to push his king away. Even throw in a check here potentially. We don't have that. The pawn continues to march with this. And then first he gives a check and then takes the pawn. Sliding back, and from there that's it. We have Fabiano Caruana has resigned because there's no way to stop this pawn push. That critical error there. And first game we have a winner for Magnus Carlsen. So game 1 of the first game goes to Carlsen. So let's get to the second game. Next game here, game 14. Magnus is the black pieces and Caruana is the second is in the white pieces. All right, and yeah, let's get to it. So Caruana as the white pieces, he's really got to try to get that win here. Okay, so first we have the looks of a Scotch game with a Sicilian defense from Magnus. Takes, doesn't recapture with the knight. Rather putting pressure. Again, they're bringing out their knights. 2 knights here. So if he takes, he wants to kick this knight. And he does, so he kicks the knight. And this can be potentially, helped by this pawn. And it is. So then this is a difficult pin to be in. That he can move. He's got lots of options for potential threats. And does Carlsen block? Yes, he blocks with the bishop. Slides over. Get the pawn rolling on the king side. Queen, the knight's going to have to drop back. Unless it's ignored. It is dropped back to c3. The queen's getting kicked back. Again, kicked back. It's got the 2 blockers. Defenders all the way back to its home square. Getting ready to castle for Magnus. takes first with the queen. Light squared bishop is gone. All right. Pawn push here. Fabiano Caruana is trying to get a queen, potentially. And that's definitely a passed pawn. And Magnus wants to stop that idea right away. Fabiano wants to get a queen. Maybe these ideas or a knight. So this is very much focused. So maybe this knight's got to come over somewhere. Or this bishop's got to come back. That's not winning. That's losing. So this is the critical juncture in time to stop this pawn march right here. So a couple of ideas to try to block these. Maybe then here. All right. Sorry about that. And yeah, so we're at 15 minutes each. You know, they get 10 seconds after that. So yeah, that's the first idea. Try to stop this pawn. Same idea, he's trying to get there. Pawn pushes. Capture. Was that a blunder there? Drops back. Ooh. Drops back. Oh, because the queen is getting hit twice. So, yeah, right there. Fabiano Caruana has resigned. Game 2. Too much pressure on this queen from the multiple sources. And we have 2 wins for Magnus Carlsen in this 2018 World Chess Championship tiebreaker. So all he needs now is a half, a draw, and he is the world champion. So it was just, this passed pawn was just too much for Fabiano to deal with, and that's the way it goes sometimes. So yeah, 5 minutes left and 12 minutes, so that plays a factor in it too. All right, so let's get to game 15. All right, so this time Magnus is as the white pieces and Caruana is as the black pieces. Let's get to it. 25 minutes. Magnus is going with a variation again of the English opening. Maybe. There it is. Recapture with the, whoops, not with the pawn. Pawn cannot do that. Does not want to get doubled pawns, and as black, this is the better bishop, the dark squared bishop. Doesn't want to trade yet. Not fianchettoing this time, just castling normally. So again, we've got quite the build-up in the middle. This is a pretty cool situation setup for Magnus. Lots of options here. And same thing for Caruana. Everybody's trying to control this middle area. All these squares here. Who's going to be able to control them? A little bit better of a setup for Magnus, but still interesting. So now we have the captures of the dark squared bishop, recapture with the pawn, throwing a kick at the knight, whereas he's running out a couple squares, potentially dropping back to one of these sides, or ignoring this threat, nope, dropping back to the g6 square. Trying to get situated. Now we've got a lot of pressure on this pawn. 2 rooks. Okay, maybe even throwing a pawn in there. Couple of moves trying to just get in a better position, throwing in all the threats that they can. All these tactics, doubled overworked pieces. $12 minutes to 15, 16 minutes. Any little idea here of getting one of these? Maybe he's going to throw this up a little bit. Nope. Ignores it and throws a little strike into this pawn or his setup. This queen's running out of squares. Can only go back there now. Can't go there. Yeah, drops back, doesn't want to get trapped. Now we have this potential double threat. If this queen wasn't back here, if it was still over there, that would have been a double. Takes with the pawn. Slight little fork here. With all this pressure, are we going to have a couple of exchanges? Yes. Rooks are gone. Doesn't want to lose his knight. Pressure on this can be taken. It is taken with pressure here. Fabiano's got to figure out something here to get a win. That's the difficult thing. We're right at the end now, 10 minutes and 6 minutes. Magnus took 3 minutes thinking about this piece, this move. So it can be recaptured with another threat here. Obviously, it's hitting the queen here. Now we have some ideas even here for check. Or obviously he's given up this. He can't take here yet because it's defended. So he takes, recaptures, takes, check. And then I wanted to just look at this really quick. This is pretty cool idea. You know, if, yeah, right here. Let's see, check, slides over, and then takes. I liked this potential idea that if he had slides over here, then there's some tactics here with, let's say, you know, he gets back here. Let's see, maybe it's later. There, now takes, check. Yeah, there's some idea with this and this with the queen over here. A tactic that was avoided. 7 minutes to 5 minutes. Throws in a check. Throws in another check there. Recaptures. Drops back. What do we have here? Passed pawn. He's going to try to hunt that down. Can't slide over. Can't slide here. Slide back here. Stops it. Queen says, you need to help out. Queen's going to get it. You need to move or help out with this somehow. One of these ideas. Jumps out of the way with check. Slides up. Protected here. But this guy can start running now. And he does. 2 minutes to 3 minutes. Queen's going to try to track him down. Gets in the way, offering the queen exchange, which would be a potential draw. Out of the way, does not want the draw. Going for the victory. Caruana with a minute left. And he gets the queen. And gets into better position. And that's it. That is it. Caruana resigns. And Fabiano is Not sure how he could win here, and Magnus Carlsen is the 2018 World Chess Champion. So, thanks for watching these 3 games, and he's the champion of the normal variation. And yeah, it was great to see these moves and these players such a high level. And then once you get to the 25-minute controls, it's just harder to find less blunders and less mistakes. So inaccuracies. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, let's get out there and play, do some tactics and some puzzles and then play some games. Here's the quote to stay motivated and get out there. I am the best player in the world and I'm here to prove it. Bobby Fischer. So good little one to end on. Would have been great to see Carlsen play Bobby Fischer. We would have had Caruana if he would have won, the first champion since Bobby Fischer, but we don't. So Magnus Carlsen from Norway is the champion. So yeah, thanks for watching, and take care. Hope you got something from it.